All right, we're ready. Let's call to order. It is February 22nd at 7:01 PM. Kay, could you do roll call, please?
Jay Enstrom,
Here.
Nicholas DeFrank,
Present.
Jeff Davlin,
Here.
Nick Missione. Here. Kim McGee. Here. Jarrett Mork is absent. Jess Robeson.
Here.
Cindy Saplesio.
Here.
Thank you, Kay. First item is the approval of minutes from the February 8th meeting. Do the commissioners have any questions or comments on the February 8th minutes? No. With that, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes from February 8th.
All right.
Second. I don't have to second that.
Jess made the motion and Nick seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Next item is public comment for persons not on the agenda. So if anybody has anything that they would like to talk to the commissioners about, is there anybody joining us online? Nobody? It looks like everybody else here is here for the items on the agenda. So with that, we'll move to the next item, which is the special use permit application for Ross Montessori School preschool facility. Jared, I guess you want to talk to the application in the memo?
You on mute, Bob? So. Perfect, yeah.
Garrett, I don't know if I need to recuse myself, but my kids go to Ross. I think I can.
Do you feel like that's going to affect the way that you're going to vote on this?
No.
Consistent with what we did on our other preschool application where Jeff recused himself. Might be
fine.
Conservative and
Just wanted to make
recommend recusing yourself for this.
Do you want me to leave or should I just sit here?
You can
not speak.
I think you can stay. I believe that's how the trustees deal with this.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Thank you, Jess. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, Jared, I guess, do you want to?
Yeah, I'll get us going. So again, this is an application for a special use permit to operate what the UDC considers a large childcare facility, which is 7 or more students. And it requires a special use permit. And so the facility will be operated at an existing single-family residence on the property. The applicant has provided some floor plans, site plans demonstrating how the building will be essentially remodeled. They're planning on blocking off the second story of the building, and that was due to conversations with the fire protection district and some of the concerns about the building not being sprinkled and the second floor not being safe for use. Kind of looking back at the history of Ross Montessori at this site, I believe it was back in about 2016, there was a development improvement agreement that was approved, which capped total students for Ross Montessori at 350 students. Today, the applicant has demonstrated they have 211 students, so the increase in 10 is well within the maximum permitted. And the applicants provided slightly staggered drop-off and pickup times to avoid any potential traffic conflicts or increasing traffic at key times. When we looked through the special use review criteria, we found that the application met each one of those criteria. Adequate parking exists. We think the traffic is mitigated. There haven't been any complaints regarding noise or any other impacts beyond the property. And so with that, we find that the application meets the UDC's requirements, and we are recommending approval of the special use permit. We have provided a special use permit or a draft as attachment B to the staff report. So that would be what is being approved. There are a few conditions, as you can see on that special use permit, and they really relate to limiting to 10 children. Any increase would require the special use permit to be re-reviewed, additional impacts or potential impacts be addressed at that time. And the parking being limited for parents and staff. And that the other big one is really that the property owner work with town staff to resolve any complaints if they do arise down the road. And I think lastly, the other big condition in here is just as the use is changing from a single family use to a childcare use, there may be some additional water and sewer tap fees and water rights fees and kind of those general fees that we collect at building permit. And so we just made sure that was captured in this special use permit. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you all might have about the application. Otherwise, we have the applicants here and they can tell you more about the preschool.
Thank you, Jared. Do any of the commission have any questions for staff?
No.
Doesn't look like it. Do you guys have anything that you would like to present to us or just talk about, talk through?
It was actually a really straightforward process. I want to thank you. I was a little concerned about how long it would take and the different things, but you made it really easy. I'd love to say thank you for that. And we're just really happy to offer 10 spots for students in preschool. Our age group is 2 to 7. Some licensure things. It sounds weird because we also have kindergarten through 8th grade, 5 to 13. But we know that there's a huge need for preschool locally, and we're going to be part of the UPK program, which is just going to be really fabulous for some families. Monica's bringing her twins, not 2 twins, but twins. And so we have 8 spots actually. She's going to be an amazing director of this new program.
Thanks. Awesome, thank you. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Doesn't look like it. Given that, we can open it up to the public for comment, but then again, it doesn't look like anybody's here for public comment on this. Unless, Bob, you have something you want to say?
Bob Schultz, 354 Pond Drive, outside of town limits. This is excellent. This is great news. My question to you, if you want to ask the applicant, is should there be a little headroom? It's been a while since I looked at the daycare regs, but I thought it was 1 teacher for every 6. And so maybe go to 12 or 15 so that you have a little wiggle room, or maybe the building isn't big enough or whatever. But my life experience has been it gets full quick and you have siblings and all kinds of things that if you had a little bit extra wiggle room, it might come in handy in the future.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say? Rich? No? I guess with that, could we get a motion to close the public comment?
Move to close public comment, motion to close.
All right. Then I suppose then we can talk amongst ourselves. Do we have anything that we want to discuss about this? Honestly, it seems very straightforward. I kind of agree with Bob in a way. It's like, ask for more now so that you don't have to come back for the special use permit if you guys do want to go up to 12 or, whatever you can fit in the space. I don't know, I guess, is that something that you guys want to consider, or is that something that we want to?
The current licensure that we're going after, it is 10 students, and because of the second story and needing to put in about $51,000 worth of sprinklers, we would have to actually bring in a modular building and do the plumbing and the electric, all this. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, let's open up in the 2-story, and then we're really hopeful that it will grow. That would be great. Yeah, so we're just, We'll
Sure.
come back. The last time I was here was 8 years ago and it was for sewer taps and it was a much longer conversation. And I can sit here and visit with you if you want.
Um,
I agree. It's pretty straightforward. I think it's great for our town. I think it's great for you guys that you're making the choice with that building. Seems like a very logical sequence.
yeah, great opportunity. I mean, the building's there and
Yep.
yeah. I mean, with that, do we want to just make a motion?
I can move. I move to approve the special use permit for the operation of a 10-student childcare facility, 109 Louis Lane. With, I think there were 10 conditions.
9.
9.
9 conditions of approval.
Awesome. And a second.
Second.
All right. Jeff made the motion. Nicholas seconded. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
There we go. Easy enough.
We're off to a running start. Nice.
Thanks for bringing more childcare to Carbondale.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Do it. Thank you. Good night.
You too.
Please don't be offended for leaving.
All right, well, with that, I guess we can move on to the next item, which is the continued public hearing for 111 Main Street Food Truck Court. Oh, echo. And yeah, as I guess everybody was here at the last meeting, so you know, we're all pretty well caught up, I think. Actually, Cindy, was Cindy, were you here last?
Yeah, I was here. I was there.
You were in person, that's right.
I was absent, but I
Yeah.
read the minutes and I'm on historic preservation. So
Ah,
I've seen these guys.
all right, nice,
Yeah.
good. Well, then you guys all remember that we had some additional requests and yeah, Jared, I guess, do you wanna?
You know, I'll really leave it up to you guys and the applicant. I think what they've proposed back at least demonstrates kind of the questions that you guys had. There were some modifications as we outlined in the staff report. I think one of the probably the big modifications that's worth noting is due to some of the potential changes of how phase 2 and the addition would look. The applicant's chosen to kind of hold off on that request at the moment and come back at a future date once they have a better idea of is phase 2 going to be attached, detached, whatever that might be. So they're really just looking for approval of phase 1. We've updated the motion accordingly and kind of removed some of those qualifications of phase 2. So I think the motion presented before you guys tonight is really comprehensive for phase 1. And then we can work with the applicant before the Board of Trustees to kind of clean up the application packet and make it more of a succinct package. But yeah, happy to answer any questions, but I would suspect that Bob and Rich would be better suited for that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe we should just jump straight to Bob, if you wanna pull up the, just have the visuals for us and we can just kind of chat through them and, yeah.
I don't know, what I got from the last applicant is I shouldn't say anything. Words of wisdom. So the things that we talked about, the waste enclosure and wanting to see some model views. Staff had asked that we update some tree information on the site plan. And as Jared mentioned, the changes, just let's do phase 1 and we'll deal with phase 2 in the future. So there's a red X where the waste enclosure was in the previous version. And there's a blue arrow where we're proposing it to do it now. It's tucked back from Main Street. It's beside the building, and there's some screening in front of it. So I think that gets at what we heard from the P and Z at our last meeting. There's request for some sort of modeling. The idea of privacy fence along the portion of the south side where the trucks come in and out, and along the eastern side as you're coming into town to do some good screening is displayed here. Once the fence gets in front of the dining area, it goes to more of a picket fence style, and it goes down to 3 feet so that it's inviting as opposed to screening. This is from about the child care center on CRMS across the street, and looking back into the site. And you can see here how the picket fence then has a little bit smaller scale, and it displays the trees and the plantings that will go along the base of the building. This one is more directly across, and it provides a view looking into the dining area and gives you a sense of how that would look. It's a little bit up in elevation because otherwise you're just kind of looking at the fence. So you would be very tall, or you would be on one of those guys with the trick bikes that's way up high. But it gives you some sense of what we're looking at here. And then there are 2 trees, one's in the town right away, one isn't. We've agreed that both of them, we would work with the town arborist to make sure they're acceptable in the town street tree inventory. And the plan view here gives you sort of a sense of the program on the site, and where the dining is in the winter months, and then the summer opening up. And then you see again the waste over their facility. The phase 2 thing, just we just want to get going and get this thing open. So it was getting bulky, and there may be things that we learn once it's open that would make us want to do it different anyways. So when phase 2 comes around, we'll be back and discussing that at that time. So a reminder, the motion that is and the findings that are put together are to rezone the property to HCC. There's a subdivision exemption that makes all of this one lot and gets rid of the little outlier parcels. There's 1,700 square feet of the lot that isn't in the town now, so that becomes part of the town. There's the conditional use for the food trucks, and a site review that includes an alternative compliance to not go 14 foot high with the ceilings on the dining area. So that's kind of where we're at, and we're hoping that we've addressed the questions that you've had, and be glad to answer any others.
Awesome. Thank you for putting all this together for us. Do we have any questions for?
I mean, I also want to say thank you for putting this together. I mean, it was pretty clean in the first place, but great to see some extra views and the thoughtful changes. So thank you for taking that time.
Rich?
That's who I was looking at. I know you didn't do these drawings, but
Yeah, SketchUp. Yeah.
yeah, no. I think this makes a lot of sense. I think, well organized, of course, and thoughtful as far as all the pieces and how they fit together. I don't see any questions there at all. I think, Rich, thank you again for, helping us understand visually how it works. I think that's very helpful for me. I can speak personally. I think really the only question, which is probably beyond our purview, but something that I think would just go up to BOT when this goes next, is just, is that question of, is this the entry? Is that the entry that works? Is that how the town enters in, or folks enter into our town rather? And so again, a little bit of a reach for our purview likely, but I think it's the only question and not to put a negative tilt on it. It's just the one question that is there. But in general, I love the food trucks. I love the concept. Personally, I think this is a fantastic use of this space, a very thoughtful use of a constrained site. So that's just my 2 cents on that one.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, we did kind of hit a little bit on just kind of that.
Jay, your mic.
I mean, that's,
Turn your mic on.
oh. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, we did hit on that a little bit, and I think that's what sparked the, you know, the request for these additional drawings. And, yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely up for debate on, you know, if that is what, you know, it's definitely a concern that we've kind of been talking about already with this, and, you know, we can definitely talk about that further.
And maybe not even a concern, right? Like
Yeah,
not to put like
sure.
negative language on it, just like something just to consider.
Mhm.
You know, that, I mean, you're providing the new Eastern Gateway for downtown. So it's just, I think it's just like, especially as a landscape architect and a planner, I think you guys know so well the importance of that. So just wanted to be very transparent that that's like the only lingering, I think, just idea that I would want this commission to comment on and
Sure.
just provide some, like, to send up some comments to the BOT.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
In context, here's the existing food truck courts. 2 of them are on Highway 133, which I think most people think of as the entrance to town. The yellow one at the top and the one at the bottom right that seems to be growing over time. And then the one on the left is down at Catherine's store, and the upper right is over off of Dolores Way. We think when you compare the level of investment that these applicants are making and the care that they're putting into the site compared to the existing conditional uses, we're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. Jess, Kim, how are you guys feeling?
Thank you for adding the views. I'm good with it.
All right.
I like this project a lot. They know that. And I think Nick brings up a good point, but considering what's going on that end of town right now, I think it's an improvement. And again, what I've said before is I love that it's bringing business all the way down to the end of Main Street.
Yeah.
I think that'll do us nothing but good. I know that Marble Distillery has had some, you know, wishes that we could make the business come further down the street. So I think it's good for everybody. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah, special thanks to Rich for putting the views together. For me, that was really helpful to see, especially as that eastern entrance. I think you guys have a really cool project and ton of potential to have a funky entrance to Carbondale and a lot of vibrant life on that part of town. And also thanks for updating the sewer, or at least capturing the sewer in the proposed changes. I know that's a big lift, and I think it'll be appreciated by the town.
Thanks, Jeff. Cindy.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it all looks great. Thank you. I appreciate the views from, especially from entering town. I think it looks great. I'm really excited about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I guess I agree. I actually really like this as the entrance. Personally, I'd rather see kind of a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit more excitement, and I actually am more excited about seeing something like this than seeing a building.
Brick wall.
A brick wall,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think it's a great kind of buffer and transition into the downtown corridor. That's my opinion personally, but, and yeah, I think it looks great.
So I guess, I mean, that's kind of what I was getting at, not want to use negative language early. I mean, what I'm hearing from this commission is that everyone is very supportive of it aesthetically, functionally, as far as an active kind of use of land. Maybe we send up some positive language then to BOT, kind of really clarifying. And I guess we've already kind of done that, but just to kind of reinforce the items or the aspects. I'm seeing Nick pop back on, so maybe we want to include him too.
Oh, Nick's back.
But I guess, yeah, I mean, I think we're all really in support of it, and I think just to make sure that that positive language is very clear to BOT,
Right.
which we don't always get to make a really positive recommendation. So it's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
nice to be able to have that unanimous, I think, except, we'll see what Nick has to say. But it.
I was here the whole time. Wasn't I?
You were,
Yeah.
you seem to be gone.
Ah. I
It
was
only
not.
Oh, did
showed
it-
4 and he dropped down to the 5th person, so.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Nick,
the
sorry,
whole
we
time.
didn't purposefully
Don't
try
worry.
to skip you.
That's fine. No, I mean, I'd say it looks great. You got my vote and I liked it before. I like it now even more. So thank you very much.
Awesome.
So,
Well, so I mean, I guess, is that something that we would just want, Jared, make sure that Jared just is,
Yeah.
projecting that to, Board of Trustees and just, yeah, describing that to him.
yeah, I think so. I think, when we had our annual thing with them, whatever that was, before COVID, after COVID, I can't tell anymore. But they actually requested, I remember, of us to be very clear when there was specific directions. There's, they don't always read all our, as awe-inspiring as our packets are. I'm sure they don't always comb through those. So, we can make it easy for them. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for making it easy for us. Awesome project.
Well, thank
you,
guys.
I guess with that, do we just want to
I'll make a motion.
make a motion?
What page is the language on?
You
Motion to
should-
approve.
You should recite all 6 pages of the findings of approval.
Big one.
Oh, man, what did I get myself into, right?
Just the bold section works.
Yeah, and I got stuck on your pretty pictures and now I'm motion to approve, to recommend to the Board of Trustees approval of the combined application for annexation, rezoning, administrative review, subdivision exemption, and conditional use permit for a food truck court at 111 Main Street and parcel number 2393344000026 with the following conditions and findings of those 3 pages.
I'll second.
Boom.
All right, Nicholas made the motion, Jess seconded. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're excited to see this.
Help
Yeah.
break it in.
Can we have a P and Z soft opening?
Yeah.
Please.
Food truck court?
Soft opening on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
there you go.
Margarita Day. There you go.
Get out here early today.
We might.
Wow.
Thank you.
They don't know that I have an hour and a half of staff updates ahead.
No.
I mean, we had a motion.
So moved. Look at that.
I really have no staff updates that you can see on the upcoming public hearing that will have the inclusionary zoning. One thing I will let you know is, and since Bob's still here, there will be a public hearing on the annexation portion of 111 Main Street on Tuesday with the trustees, but it'll be continued to the 26th of March, where the entire package will be considered. So if you guys see something, people ask, now you know.
Mhm.
Excellent.
See you Tuesday.
No one's happy about it.
But yeah, so we'll have kind of a work session on the 14th for inclusionary zoning requirements. That was at the direction of the trustees. They gave us some kind of initial considerations, but they do really want you guys to kind of dig into this and see what's appropriate or what's right for Carbondale. So that will be kind of the next big item. And that's, yeah, I think that's really all we have. We will have the aquatic center coming up. That will be relatively quick process. So I don't know if it's gonna make the 28th hearing or if it will be early April, but we'll let you guys know once we have a better understanding of when that is.
Sure.
What does that look like? Not physically, process-wise.
So they are going to, they've gone to a few boards and commissions. They have an internal working group that's made up of some boards and commissions members. As far as the so they've gone to the tree board, they've gone to Park and Rec Commission, CPAC. Have they gone to E-board? I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if they will go to E-board. The Historic Preservation Commission did request to do a courtesy review. And the design team was willing to do a courtesy review. So kind of public hearing process wise, you'll have a notice public hearing the week before the planning commission. We'll have a historic preservation hearing, planning commission, and then hopefully not the following meeting, not the following board of trustees meeting, but the one at the end of that month. Hopefully we can get that to the board of trustees for approval. With that being said, there's no rush to push a review through this board. If you guys feel like you need to discuss it, there's time to discuss it, but that's kind of the general outline. So I feel like most of the commissions have had an opportunity to weigh in on the.
Are they doing any public meetings?
I don't believe they're doing any specific public meetings outside of public hearings that the public are more than welcome to attend. Yeah, if you know something
Oh.
different, feel free to jump in.
Well, what I do know is that they have met on site and have been in communication with members of the community that are concerned about the trees, which has kind of been a hot button topic of late. And I think that they have worked through that between that community group and the tree board, and they understand the costs and considerations of why some of the trees will be taken out.
Got it. Yeah, I'm not interested in the tree portion. I'm just wondering why such a massive piece of our community isn't going to some level of open house or some kind of community-wide kind of engagement process.
Didn't it go?
They had
They
a
had-
master plan process several years ago that did.
Several years ago,
Include.
the project's changed significantly since then.
I believe, yes, I mean, yes, the
It was my
project has
project.
changed. Yeah,
Right. So just, I think just
certainly.
knowing what's going on would probably be, especially since we have that snazzy new website that can share great local projects.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I can certainly pass that on to that team.
Yeah.
And share that consideration with them. You know, it
There
is
hasn't been
right on
reason-
Main Street, and I think people will care as they cared with the adjacent parcel.
Right.
Right.
And I think even just being in such close of a timeline to that, I think it's important. I agree, it is kind of important to make sure that people feel like they are heard at this time. But
Right. Especially, you know,
at the same time, we don't want to overcomplicate things.
Mhm.
but it is a bonded.
Right.
There's a lot of taxpayer dollars going in there.
Yeah. But no, thanks for the update on
Yeah.
that. And we look forward to working with their team on that. That should be fun.
Are we just getting a presentation or they're just gonna kind of?
It's a full application to you guys.
Okay.
They're gonna have to rezone. There'll be a site plan.
Because they're going into the, right, new office.
And
Their land use application's already up on our website, right, Jared?
it is, I'm trying to think, I think there's an alternative compliance request in there.
I think it's administrative site plan and rezone is what I see.
Okay.
Mhm. Wow, what would they do if we denied it?
So without getting too far into it, the rezoning's kind of needed to meet certain lot dimensional standards.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Here's a process question for you, Jared.
yes.
With the food truck park, that is now a closed application at P and Z. So as commissioners, we're free to talk in the public about it. And if anyone's interested in hearing how we went through the process before it goes to the trustees, that is lifted. Is that fair to
Yep,
say?
that,
Okay.
that's correct. You guys are welcome to discuss it. As
And
you're,
comment at the Board of Trustees meeting, et cetera.
you asked if you're allowed to comment?
Well, of course, right.
Yeah, of course you guys are allowed to comment at the trustee meeting as members of the community and or members of the planning commission.
So do we officially have an application in front of us for the pool, for the aquatic center?
Yes, that has been submitted to the town.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have nothing else
Yeah,
update wise for you guys.
cool. Well then, commissioner comments. Jess, you wanna do the honor?
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Record time. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Everybody have a good night.
I'm gonna grab the special use permit. Would you